Hey everyone, I'm going to show you something super cool to look for inside comic books that could bring you some big money even if you don't have any interest or any experience in comic books whatsoever. You just need to know what to look for, and I'm going to show you that in just a few moments. But first, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name's Dominic, the Primetime Treasure Hunter. I specialize in reselling comic books and all things vintage and collectible. I have over 500 free videos for you here on this channel in all sorts of different content areas. So if you see something of interest that you like, please make sure that you support the channel and help it grow by subscribing before you leave. So let's go into what this comic book is and what you need to look for. This is something that came to mind last night when I was looking through some old comic books in some comics that I had sourced at an estate sale, specifically within a barn. These books date back primarily to the 1940s and the 1950s. I've pulled out a lot of gems from there so far, and this is one of a few that I picked out last night to look at. Now I know you can't see it too well because my screen is minimized, so I'm going to make it bigger for you here and enlarge it. This here, as you can see, is one of these Gene Autry comics. It was published by Dell. This specific one was published in 1953. It's issue number 82. There's nothing about it that makes it really valuable. I'll show you this later when I show you some comps data on eBay. But what I want you to see for now is that there's a moderate degree of wear to the cover, a lot of color loss from handling over time. You see there's a lot of wear and color loss on the spine, a lot of creases, some that course all the way down the book. There's a lot of indentations and things like that. So there's a lot of things that take away from the visual appeal of the comic, and whenever you take away from the visual appeal of a comic book, you are taking away from the value of the comic book, because the value in comics is highly tied to condition. But the important thing, and this is what the video is about, that you want to look for, is as I turn the page here, and I'm going to show you this in the background as well, you see that we have a second cover, an identical cover. This is known as a multiple cover or a double cover. These are considered rare manufacturing errors. They're not considered defects. An error is something that will not take away from the actual value of the book. The value is going to be determined based on which cover is in better condition and then other aspects related to the comic book. This is something, this type of book, a double cover, or sometimes you could even find a triple cover or a quadruple cover, that is highly appealing to collectors for multiple reasons. One, because it's rare. Two, because it's really cool to look at. Three, people love having an extra cover because that second cover is just usually one that is in better condition compared to that first outer cover because it's been protected by the outer cover. Now, that's not always the case. It depends on how the book has been handled, but typically it is. And you could see that right over here as I take you into that second cover. Now, while there is some wear to it, you could see that there's some creases here that break color here on the top left. There's a crease here that goes right down there, and there's one here on the bottom right. But there's much less color loss. It's much brighter. It's much more solid colors there compared to that first outer cover that I had shown you earlier right there. So that is something that also helps, and it's an additional bonus. And people really love cover art, so to have two covers is just something, again, pretty visually appealing to collectors. Now, the more covers that are present, the more valuable the book is going to be, because it's more rare for that type of manufacturing defect to happen or to occur. So in other words, having a triple cover or a quadruple cover is going to be worth more than having a double cover. So I'm going to take you into some really cool comps to show you the difference in value between having one of these types of issues, a comic issue that just a standard issue that does not have any type of multiple covers to it, and we're going to compare it to the same issue and often in the same kind of condition to one that has a double cover, or even I'm going to show you an example of a triple cover as well. So let's start off with this one here. This is the regular version of the comic book. It's a cool comic book, which is why it did sell for $96 at auction with 11 bids and $7.50 shipping. It's visually appealing to collectors because it has a really cool title, astonishing, and it's coming out and kind of like a 3D look. And there's this beheading theme to it where you've got this scary executioner here. You've got this guy, he's really scared to death, literally. And it's just really neat. It's something that collectors would like. It's an old issue. It's from the 1950s, 1954, issue number 34 of Astonishing. It has wear to it. As you can see, there's a pencil mark on top. There's wear along the margins. There's color loss here, right there, right along the edges. So there's some spine wear too. There's some creases that break color. So this is not a perfect book. It's got a moderate degree of wear to it, but still sold for right over $100 once you factor in the shipping. Now let's take this same exact issue in very similar condition right here. Astonishing number 34 again. You can see here though, this is the rare double cover version. It's a very good plus grade, which means it has moderate wear to it. And you can see right there, look at that. Look how cool that looks when you open it up, how you have that kind of double effect there. That's what I was talking about earlier when I said there's this visual appeal to having that double cover when you open it like that. It's really neat. Look at the price though. $255 plus 21 bids and $5 shipping. So 21 bids compared to 11 bids, and $255 compared to $96. The shipping was similar. So pretty much about 2.5 times the value having the double cover versus not, and a lot more interest as evidenced by the increased number of bids. Let me take you into another example. Now, this is a comic book title that no one is really interested in at all. In and of itself, no one really cares about it. It's called Mr. District Attorney. Came out in 1952. It's very good plus in terms of the grade, so it's got a moderate degree of wear. You can see very good plus, a 4.5. Someone was trying to sell this from overseas, from England. In terms of a U.S. currency transfer, the value would be $32.49 with $15.59 shipping. So this is a completed sold search, and you can see the font here of the price is in black, meaning that it did not sell. So no one bought this. Now, yes, someone could say it's coming from overseas, but if it's a good book, if people are interested in it, they'll wait and they'll pay the price for it. You see it all the time in terms of international sales, including in comic books that come to the U.S. So the reason this did not sell is not because this is something that comes from another country. If you're watching this from the United States, it's just that there's really just not much interest in this. But let's take this same exact book, which there's ordinarily not much interest to, and we're just going to add a triple cover to it. Okay, look how cool this is, having 3 covers there. I mean, that is just super neat. Just look at how it looks. So cool and so rare to find that. Look at the sale price there, $190.50 with 23 bids and $5 shipping. So almost a $200 sale for having the triple cover, compared to when it didn't have any kind of multiplication of covers, just a regular standard cover, no interest in it whatsoever. No one purchased it. So this is an example of this. I'll show you some more. Here's Spider-Man right here. Now, this is the Amazing Spider-Man number 84. I'm going to start off by actually showing you the double cover, because the thing I want you to pay attention to on this one is this book, and just here to show you, there's the double cover. This is a low to mid-grade book right there. You can see there, I'll highlight it for you, meaning it has a moderate degree of wear to it. Okay, but it's a double cover, so that helped it sell for $130 plus $11 shipping, so about a $140 sale. But remember, the condition on this, it really isn't that great. Now, how much does the double cover help? Well, check this out. Okay, let's look at Amazing Spider-Man number 84. So right here, we've got it graded in very fine to near mint condition in a slab. Someone had this for $115 and $14 shipping. It did sell for a best offer price, and I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it here. I'm not exactly sure what the best offer price that they sold it for, but my point is, this is how crazy this is, right? You've got a graded very fine to near mint Spider-Man book, okay, and an old one from 1970. It's graded, it's in the slab, which, generally that's something that's going to increase the value of a book significantly compared to if it's not, formally graded in a slab. And this sold for less than having it with a double cover, not formally graded, not certified or anything like that, and in low to mid grade condition. That's absolutely crazy. That just shows you how desirable it is to find these types of rare errors in the manufacturing process. Because you may have the only issue that ever came off of that printing press that had that double cover with it. Now let's scroll down a little bit more and see what this book would ordinarily sell for if it is not graded, not in a slab, just, in and of itself. Here we go. $80 in very fine condition with $7 shipping. So, this one here sold for much more than that. Not quite double the price, but getting close to it just for having the double cover. Let's look at another one here. This one here is Thor, number 183. Here's the double cover right here. This sold one bid for $100 and $11 shipping. So that's the double cover. And having it in near mint condition, this one did sell graded in a slab for more than that. Okay, so there's an example of where it will sometimes sell for more. But let's take a look at just a regular comparison of a double cover versus just not having a double cover at all. Just a regular single cover. So we'll scroll down. There's another double cover right there. We're going to go down a little bit more. There's another double cover. We'll scroll down. Now let's look, and what we could see is this is a completed sales search right here. We've got a lot of black font right here in the prices, meaning that these didn't sell. And these are for $30 plus $20 shipping, so they're not selling. We have to go down and down and down to find one that's sold. Keep going down. Keep going down. Here we go. We've got one that's sold for, nope, that's not the same issue. Keep going down. Here we go. $19.99 plus, which was a best offer, plus $4.99 shipping. Look at the difference compared to this one, which just easily sold for $100 plus $11 shipping. That is a massive difference in price simply by having the double cover. So now let's get back to my Gene Autry book right here with the double cover. So here it is. Here's the completed sales search for it. You see a lot of black font. No one is really interested in this. Now, that doesn't mean no one's interested in Gene Autry books, because there are some people that like those old Westerns, and they will still spend money on some of those books. But this particular issue, people really don't care too much about. Nothing real important that happened in it. There is one that sold, but look at the price. This is at auction for $1.25 plus $4.50 shipping. I'll bring it up and enlarge it so you can. Oh, it's gone. It's too old, so I can't bring up the actual original listing there. But again, this one barely cracked $5 in terms of what it did at auction. So I decided, why not? I don't really have much at all into this book, just like a few cents. So I just put it up for $10 at auction. So I put up last night, and we'll see what happens with it. It should at least sell for $10, which is more than it would do without that. And if it sells for more than that, then that's great. So if anyone is interested in this, I'm going to put a link to it down below. Maybe you're someone watching this who likes double covers or something. I don't know. And as far as I know, this may be the only Gene Autry issue like this. For this particular issue, that has a double cover. So you could have something in your hands that's pretty unique. And as I showed you, that second cover looks pretty cool. In my listing, if you go look at it, you'll see that the inside looks pretty decent here for most of the pages. There's a little staining on the bottom and stuff, but one of the things I really want to point out to you with this, and this is just to make sure you protect yourself from fakes, if you look here, make sure that you look at the staples in the middle of it, because there are some people that try to manufacture fake double cover books, and when they do that, it's really almost impossible to fake it right without altering the staples in the middle. Okay, so you can see here that those staples are nice and tight right there. There's one there that's nice and tight. When someone tries to fake a double cover, it's going to look something like Let me show you here if I have an example of that here. Here we go. Right here. You see that? You see how it doesn't come together well? And so sometimes what people will try to do is they will try to press them together by putting like a bunch of books on top of it. But then what that's going to do is it's going to cause damage to right around the sides of it. It's going to damage the actual pages right next to it. So make sure you look at the staple page, and if you try to sell it, make sure that you highlight and make sure you show that right there, just so the person buying it knows that it's not a fake and that this is a genuine error and a genuine double cover or triple cover, whatever it is that you have. For those of you who are curious, yes, these will sell, and they will be graded if you send it off to a grading company and you want to get it inside a slab. And what they're going to do, I just want to highlight this for you so you could see it, is they're going to actually grade both covers there, just like I was telling you earlier in terms of how you determine the grading and how you would then determine value. If you may have to pause this to see it, but underneath where it says Wolverine Limited Series number 1, Marvel Comics 982, you'll see it says double cover, first cover 9.4, interior cover 9.8. That's important because look at the main grade that this gets. This gets that trophy grade of 9.8. So imagine if you have this book, you find this book, and let's say the outside, this is a desirable book, by the way, this Wolverine issue number 1, this is a desirable comic book. If you found this and you just passed it by because you thought the cover had too much damage and didn't realize that right inside is that second cover that would get you that 9.8 because it was protected, this is worth a lot of money, this book. You can see starting bid for this is $500. So it's something to definitely look out for. Again, even if you don't have any experience in comic books whatsoever, this is something to look for that could help you out. If you're interested in more of my videos on comic books, I have an entire playlist section just dedicated to comic books. So make sure you go check that out. Come by, join my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. We have over 14,000 people in that group right now. It's crazy, just keeps growing day by day. A lot of seller support activities in there. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And make sure you come to my Instagram account. That's @prime_time_treasure. I'll see you back the next video, everyone. Take care.